Nothing about that night was normal. When I male was 18 or 19, a female friend from high school, and I moved to Jacksonville, Florida. We settled into the heart of the city, just a few blocks from the Blue Bridge in downtown. One night, my friend and I decided to get on some friend-making apps in an effort to meet some locals and start up a new friend circle in the community. Most of the people on these apps were either way out of our parameters for what an ideal friend might have looked like to us, or didn't seem to be truly looking for strictly a friendship. After some time of searching around, we did find that there were some people on there that seemed genuine and like they could be a good match.
Eu sou Jordan, e esta é a noite mais WTF da minha vida.
We both had talked to one of the guys on there separately from different phones to sort of test the waters a bit, to get two perspectives on this guy before deciding if meeting him was a good idea. Both of us had positive experiences and ultimately decided to give him a shot. He wasn't terribly far from where we were staying, maybe 20 minutes. A little further than was ideal, but he seemed pretty chill. He didn't have a vehicle and said he stayed with his parents. We made plans for me and my friend to go pick him up from his house later that same day, and we'd come back to our place and have some drinks and shoot the shit. Nothing too crazy, no big plans, just wanted to chill. She takes forever to get ready to go anywhere, so by the time we got to heading over to his place to pick him up, it was already nightfall, which wasn't inherently a bad thing. I mean, we didn't have jobs or any other obligations at the time, so it didn't really matter. When we get to the address, it's like we were in a whole new town, like a whole new world, almost. It was outside of the major parts of the city, but it was so weird because in one moment the streets were well lit and there was lots of traffic and people outside and all that, to the next moment it being completely vacant. No people, no houses, not even streetlights. I missed the turn into his driveway the first go-round because I literally could hardly see anything. I turned around and immediately my heart sank. The driveway was hardly a driveway. It barely stood out against the overgrowth of the land. The fence was all busted up and falling apart, and I couldn't see a house anywhere. I kept following the driveway because on the maps we could see that the location he sent us was a bit away from the road. The driveway was long and took a sharp turn after about 500 feet. It was pitch black, and the gravel was basically non-existent at this point, and started to turn into more of like a sludgy mud trap. So I parked in the middle of the driveway, and me and my friend were contemplating if this was a bad idea or if we were just being dramatic. We laughed at ourselves, and I decided to text him that we were here, or that we thought we were and wanted to make sure we were at the right place before anything else. I follow her eyes and flinch when I see a man standing right outside the window, a big smile and these thick glasses with a turtleneck and pastel blue shorts that were pulled up to basically his neckline. Ha, not really. They were like up way high above his hips and belted so tight. We waited for a few minutes and I could see almost right away that he viewed the message I'd sent, but he didn't reply. A few more minutes passed and he still didn't reply. So we said fuck it and decided that this was too weird and we'd just go back home and call it a loss. I started to make a 3-point turn when something thumped the back of my car. The car I had then didn't have a backup camera, so I didn't have any visuals. I'm thinking I hit a fence or a tree or something. Me and my friend are looking all around the car trying to see what it was, but there was nothing. I pulled forward and reversed again. Then my friend screamed at the top of her lungs and I almost jumped out of my skin. I was like, "What? Why are you screaming?" And she just points and stares out the window. I cracked the window when I recognized that it was the guy we'd been trying to meet. I just awkwardly laughed and said, "I didn't see you there." Then he just starts pulling on the door handle to the passenger seat, the one my friend is clearly sitting in. The doors were still locked, so of course the door didn't open, but I was like, "Hey, just hop in the back," and I unlocked the doors. Then he disappeared behind the car. I looked at my friend and was just like, "What the?" Then the door behind me opens and he gets in on that side. Why he didn't get in on the side he was already on is beyond me, but whatever. Maybe he had good reason. Maybe it was just that he was a little awkward. Well, we found out soon that he was indeed awkward. Very awkward. When he'd gotten in, he was heavily winded, just breathing really hard and laughing like, not to be offensive, but like how a stereotypical nerdy dude would laugh. Throaty and nasally. Me and my friend were being casual, and I eventually said, "Damn man, it's fucking dark out here." That apparently opened the floodgates, because he just went on this long spiel, rambling about the situation, going in circles and answering his own rhetorical questions, not pausing long enough for anyone else to speak. I started to pull out back the way I came, and he eventually quieted down. It was silent for a second, and I think he caught on to what he was doing. We started talking about the city. Normal stuff you'd likely talk about when meeting someone new. He quickly cooled out and settled his nerves and relaxed, which was a huge relief. As we were chatting and headed back, my gas light came on, and so I pulled into a gas station a few blocks from our place. Now back in the city, still lively as ever. I parked at a pump and both of them said that they needed to get something from inside. He hopped out and walked straight towards the door. My friend stepped out but turned back into the car, digging through her purse to get her wallet. We kind of started laughing because it was still funny how the initial interaction went down, and we were both thinking it. Then out of nowhere, some group of middle-aged women start scream laughing and hollering at me and my friend in the car. I was confused at first, but then one of the women said, "Y'all wrong as hell." My friend turned around and said, "What?" The women kept laughing and pointing at the guy we'd picked up. He hadn't made it inside yet. And the woman said, "How the hell you let this man out the house looking like that?" They were hysterical about his getup, the weirdly fashioned clothing he had on. He didn't acknowledge them at all, but I could see from where I was how bright red his face was. It was super awkward and a little uncomfortable, but he kept going and went inside. The group of women dissipated. Then my friends started to head into the gas station. I was texting on my phone, now alone in the car for a moment. I hadn't gotten out yet to pump gas. But as I was texting, I had this super weird feeling in my gut that just said, "Lock your doors." I didn't know why I responded so quickly, but I'm glad I did. I reached over and locked my doors, looked around the lot, and went back to texting. Next thing you know, someone pulls on my door handle. I looked up and whoever it was just kept walking, like they didn't just pull my door handle. Before I could even think, he had already walked past my car and was approaching the car in front of me, parked at a different pump. There wasn't anyone in the driver's seat, and the car door was unlocked, gas still pumping in their car. I figured that maybe he'd accidentally pulled my car door handle thinking it was his car and just realized his mistake and got in his own car. But I soon realized that wasn't his car at all. Some lady comes running out of the gas station, hollering, Hey, that's my car! What are you doing?" I hear the car engine start up, and he takes off, full speed, into the road. He barely misses hitting someone walking their dog and nicks the curb, catching a little air. The lady continues screaming obscenities running after the carjacker, but he doesn't slow down even for a second. He flies diagonally across the lanes of traffic and goes straight into the on-ramp for the interstate, tires screeching. I'm watching the car zooming away, then wham! The guy wrecks straight into a power electrical box on the edge of the ramp, hard. Sparks and lights exploded from the impact. Then smoke billows out. By then, both my friends are back at the car staring at the incident. I see them and unlock the doors. They hop in asking what in the hell is going on. I don't get gas and take off right away. I could get gas somewhere else,